Hey guys, how is it going? Apple, with their new spring-loaded event, just released a ton of new things, and I'm going to be talking about all of them. Let's get started. The first thing that Apple released was like 6 minutes into the event, the iPhone 12 in purple, which I have a video talking about that's supposed to be released earlier or released soon. I'm not sure, but subscribe and you can find it. And the new purple iPhone is just the iPhone in purple and is arguably the most boring part of the event. However, if you're looking to buy an iPhone, this is the color I would recommend because it is the most limited iPhone right now, and also the purple iPhone. It's just purple. It's a great color. And the next thing that Apple released were the Apple AirTag, or AirTags if you buy many, which they do allow you to do. If you go into the pricing, you can see that one pack is only $29. You can spend $29 and buy a whole Apple product with an Apple chip inside. I think this has to be one of the best deals that Apple has made. If you want to buy 4 of these AirTags, you can spend only $99, which is about $25 per AirTag. So that's $4 off. I know it doesn't sound like that much, but remember, each AirTag is only $29. That's amazing. I'm probably going to just buy a pack to review, so if you want to see that video, be sure to subscribe as well. Something cool about the AirTag is that you can engrave things onto it. You can add emojis or your name, numbers onto the AirTag, and that looks very cool. And this is especially useful because it's a small little puck that you can just write something on it and you don't lose it, or since this is so cheap, I'm sure you're going to find this outside quite a lot. So with your own emoji or your own name on it, it's harder to lose. So that was the AirTag. And next was Apple TV 4K. They finally released a new version, and it's nearly just like the older version, except with the A12 Bionic chip rather than the A10. So the A12 Bionic chip first appeared in the iPhone XS, which is a really fast chip and a really fast phone. The iPhone 7 had the A10, which is what was in the old Apple TV 4K. So this is truly a speed upgrade and a really necessary one in my opinion. So they have said you can finally watch 4K HDR content at a higher frame rate than before, which they never clearly stated, which kind of concerns me, but sure, it is faster and it will definitely be an improvement. But that's not really a big deal. The bigger deal actually is the remote that they have released. This new remote looks very chunky and very ugly, if I do say so myself. However, on Twitter, a lot of people have already said they love it. Sure, it looks very bad, but actually it's super functional with the touch gestures and all of the buttons. So this, yes, I do have to agree, is actually really quite useful. It's very functional, and Apple currently put function over form on this one, which is quite unlike Apple, but a lot of people have been requesting something like this, so I get why Apple is making one. So this is the new Apple TV 4K. If you're looking to buy an Apple TV right now, this is the one to wait for. Do not get the older versions or even the Apple TV HD because they have not been updated. And next, the iMac. Before the event, I actually tweeted out that I believe there's going to be a iMac and it's coming out at this event, mark my words. And I predicted a lot of things. Well, predicted, it's really just guess and looking at what leakers said, but I believed it was coming out in this event, and it did. So the new iMac only has one size now. Before there was 21.5 and 27 inch. Now they found a middle ground between the two, and it's 24 inches. Actually, if you look at the specifications, it's 23.5, but hey, come on, it comes in 7 colors, except it's a bit misleading. If you look at the cheapest configuration, you can see that it is $1,300 USD or 1,600 Canadian dollars. This model only has 4 colors: silver, blue, green, and pinkish red. So yes, it does have 7 colors, but you have to spend extra. But other than that, it's a pretty good product. here's the overview of the specs. For $1,300, you get 256 gigs storage, a bit low, 8 gigabytes of memory, a bit low, but it's Apple Silicon, I'll let that fly, a 24-inch 4.5K Retina display. Who guessed 4.5K Retina display? Me, I did, in a past prediction video, so hey, I was the only person, and that's why you should subscribe. But other than that, it also only has 2 Thunderbolt ports, and that's it for the ports. Or it has a headphone jack too, but no one cares about the headphone jack anymore. The drawbacks are a bit much, and also you only get the standard Magic Keyboard instead of the Magic Keyboard with Touch ID. So if you just spend an extra $200, which is what I recommend you do, you get the same product except you have access to 3 more colors: yellow, orange, and purple. Okay, the next difference within these are that this mid-end model has 2 USB 3 ports as well. So it's still 2 less than the iMac I have right now, strangely, but at least they're getting USB. Basically, the power supply is outside of the iMac now because the iMac has to be so thin and so small. They cram the entire computer into the chin of the device, so they cannot fit the power supply in there. This means that the computer actually has an external power supply that can just sit on the ground. Now this kind of bugs me because external power supplies, but secondly, on the power supply there's actually a gigabit Ethernet port. And you can actually plug in Ethernet to the brick. And then with the charging or the power cable, there's actually a gigabit Ethernet cable inside it as well, which gives your computer power and internet. It is crazy, it's really innovative, but I'll let it fly. It's just that without it, I think a lot of people would get mad that the power supply is outside of the device. Finally, if you spend another $200, you can upgrade to the most high-end iMac, except it's the base model and you can still upgrade it even more. For $1,700, you get a Apple M1 chip, not M2 like I expected, which is kind of sad, but you get an M1 chip with 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, 512 gigs of storage, which I think is good enough for most people, but for me it's not enough, definitely. So I had to spend an extra $250 to upgrade to 1TB SSD. And next, 8 gigabytes of unified memory. Still 8 gigs. If you want 16 gigs, you have to spend an extra $250. Crazy. So you're just spending extra for the storage within the mid model to the high-end model. Also, the high-end model does allow you to upgrade the storage even further, which the mid-end does not. If you choose the standard, like normal $1,500 version, then you're capped at 256 gig storage. Apple, come on. But yeah, I would recommend you to get the highest end model if you can, and just saying, every model is great. It's just that some are losing features, and they're the features that I do not want to lose. Finally, after the iMac, they released the iPad Pro. It's crazy, which is why I'm going to not talk about it in this video. I'm kidding. So, here's what I think about the iPad Pro. It's a bit too overkill. I have the 2020 iPad Pro right here, and I am a bit sad, but I'm not that sad. Apple put the M1 chip inside the iPad Pro 5th generation. Now, this kind of hurts me just a bit because I thought the M stood for Max. So why would you custom design an iPad chip to fit inside a Mac? And then you take back that Mac chip and put it in an iPad. It's a bit backwards to me, but I get it. The M1 is really fast, and they probably just wanted to save some marketing, and they're probably different chips, but they called the same name just for marketing. The iPad has the M1 chip, yes. It also still comes in 2 sizes, the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. Now, the displays within these 2 models are actually really different now. The 12.9-inch has a Retina XDR display, which, yes, is actual XDR with 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. It's great, and it's basically the same as the Pro Display XDR that costs $6,000. What's different between these are that the iPad is not 6K and it uses a different technology. So the iPad uses mini LED. It's the first Apple device to actually use mini LED, so it's great, except it's really expensive. So before the 12.9-inch iPad Pro would cost $899, so $900, and now it costs $1,100, so that's a $200 increase just for that display. I get it, but it's a bit much. The 11-inch still has the normal LCD display, and it still costs the same amount, which is $800. You also get 8 GB of RAM on these new models instead of the 6 gigs on my model. Or if you even upgrade to the 1 TB or 2 TB configuration, which is new, you can get 16 GB of RAM. By default, you can't even upgrade it. So by default, you get more RAM on an iPad than on an iMac. Okay, Apple, okay. They also added 5G. What a joke, Apple, what a joke. Now next, they also added a new white Magic Keyboard, which looks great, except it's probably gonna be a nightmare because if you just get anything on it, it's going to not look like it's white anymore. I have the black Magic Keyboard and that still gets dirty, so buy the white one at your own risk, I suppose. But other than that, these are just the great products that Apple released. I honestly love every single one of them, so there really isn't a wrong choice. Just some are more practical than others. Say, the iMac with USB ports are better than the iMac without USB ports, right? So that's it for this video. It's the really shortened summary of their keynote, and I still wanted to go into some detail, which is why it's not under 1 minute long or something like that. So thank you for watching. Click something on the screen right now, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.